Dr. Elias Ward was a shell of a man. The esteemed child psychologist, once vibrant, now carried the weight of unimaginable loss. His wife and daughter, taken too soon in a car accident, were now whispers in the grand empty halls of his Victorian townhouse. He clung to his work, seeking solace in the troubles of others. One chilly afternoon, a new family arrived at his practice, their faces etched with a familiar anxiety. Mira Lane, her eyes red-rimmed and weary, introduced her son Caleb. Caleb was a quiet, watchful boy with an unsettling intensity in his gaze. He didn't speak much, but when he did, his words sent shivers down Dr. Ward's spine. "He sees things," Mira confessed, her voice barely a whisper. "Things that aren't there." Caleb spoke of children playing in the dusty corners of the waiting room, their laughter echoing with a hollow sadness. He described a woman in a long, flowing gown, her face obscured by shadows, who seemed to watch them from the stairwell. Dr. Ward tried to rationalize Caleb's visions, attributing them to an overactive imagination or the trauma of a recent move. But deep down, a seed of unease began to take root. Could Caleb's visions be real? Caleb's arrival awakened something in Dr. Ward, a flicker of fear but also curiosity. He listened as the boy described his ghostly companions. Caleb spoke of their games and sorrows. One day, Caleb pointed to a portrait on Dr. Ward's wall. "She's angry," Caleb whispered. "She says this is her house." Dr. Ward recognized the woman, Miss Valora, the original owner. Local legend whispered of her tragic demise and missing children. Intrigued, Dr. Ward began researching his home. He unearthed old clippings and diaries. The more he discovered, the more horrified he became. He was living in a house built on secrets. He had to help them find peace, for their sake and his own. Caleb became Dr. Ward's guide through the labyrinth of the past. The boy, unafraid of the spectral residents, spoke to them with an ease that both baffled and amazed Dr. Ward. He learned their names, their stories, the heartbreaking circumstances of their demise. The truth of Miss Valora's reign of terror unfolded like a nightmare. Driven mad by grief and paranoia, she had turned to dark rituals, sacrificing innocent lives. The children, trapped within the walls that had once been their prison, now reached out to Caleb, their tiny voices filled with a profound sadness. They longed for their mothers, for peace, for the chance to finally rest. One evening, as Dr. Ward and Caleb stood in the cold, damp cellar where Miss Valora had conducted her gruesome rituals, they felt a shift in the atmosphere. The air grew heavy, the shadows seemed to writhe and coil around them. And then, she materialized. Miss Valora, her eyes blazing with a terrifying intensity, her form shimmering like heat haze. She lashed out at Dr. Ward, accusing him of disturbing her domain, of unearthing her secrets. Dr. Ward watched as Miss Valora turned her rage on Caleb. But Caleb stood firm, speaking of her pain and need for redemption. He told her the children forgave her. Miss Valora softened, her rage replaced by sadness. She dissolved into motes of light. Peace descended upon the house. The children appeared one last time, their faces glowing with gratitude. They said their goodbyes and vanished into the ether. Dr. Ward organized a memorial service for the children. He continued his work, forever changed by the encounter. In quiet moments, Dr. Ward could almost hear his wife and daughter laughing softly.